Welcome to our deep dive on HDHPs versus PPOs, especially when adding a new dependent. First, we will frame the decision as a trade-off between long-term wealth building and immediate financial stability. Then, we will explain the triple tax advantage of HSAs, how employer contributions shift the math, and when PPO predictability is worth more than theoretical returns. By the end, you will have a clear framework to choose confidently. Next, here is our roadmap. We will start with the context, cover plan basics, unpack the HSA triple tax advantage, run sample cost scenarios, and then share a simple decision framework. Afterward, we will test your understanding with a short quiz and close with key takeaways and next steps. Before we proceed, a quick disclaimer. This content is for education only and does not constitute financial, tax, or medical advice. Plan details, premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket maximums, and HSA rules differ by employer, insurer, state, and year. Always consult your plan documents, HR, or a licensed professional to validate specifics for your situation. Now let's define the plans. An HDHP is a high deductible health plan that pairs with a health savings account, or HSA. It usually requires you to pay more out-of-pocket before the plan contributes, but it enables powerful tax benefits through the HSA. A PPO is a preferred provider organization plan that typically offers predictable copays and more stable budgeting. In this comparison, the HDHP can be math-friendly when utilization is low and employer HSA contributions are substantial, while the PPO shines when visits are frequent and you value cost predictability. Moving on, the HSA is often called triple tax advantaged. First, contributions reduce your taxable income. Second, investment growth in the account is not taxed. Third, qualified medical withdrawals are also tax-free. Employer contributions can further improve your effective cost, sometimes making the HDHP's best-case scenario cheaper than a PPO when utilization is low. The biggest optimization comes from treating the HSA as a supplemental retirement account rather than spending from it immediately. Furthermore, the HDHP excels when you expect low utilization and can comfortably handle a large deductible if needed. Employer HSA contributions can meaningfully offset costs. By contrast, the PPO prioritizes budget predictability. It tends to have lower premiums and predictable copays in this context, which matters when you anticipate many visits, such as with young children. Also, PPO out-of-pocket maximums are often lower than those of HDHPs, limiting worst-case exposure. Next, let's ground this with simple numbers. Assume annual premiums of $3,000 for the HDHP and $2,400 for the PPO. Suppose the employer contributes $1,500 to your HSA. Your own HSA contribution is optional and acts more like savings than a cost. In a low utilization year, the HDHP might result in a best-case effective net of $1,900 after subtracting the employer HSA, while the PPO might be around $2,550. In a high utilization year, the HDHP's higher out-of-pocket maximum can push the worst-case net to $10,500, compared with about $8,400 for the PPO. These figures are illustrative and will vary. The point is to highlight how employer HSA contributions can tilt the best case in favor of the HDHP, while the PPO often protects you better in the worst case. After that, follow a simple sequence. First, estimate your likely utilization. Second, list the plan's premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket maximum, and copays. Third, factor in employer HSA contributions, which can materially change the effective cost. Fourth, stress test your cash flow and confirm whether you can cover the HDHP deductible without hardship. Fifth, decide what matters more right now, long-term HSA growth or monthly budget stability. Now, visualize the decision as a mind map. At the center is the HDHP versus PPO choice. One branch addresses cash cushion, asking whether you have an adequate emergency fund and can self-pay the deductible. Another branch examines utilization, from preventative only to high-frequency care, such as for a young child. A third branch captures the size of your employer HSA contribution. A fourth branch reflects your tolerance for financial volatility versus predictability. These branches lead to outcomes. If you have strong cash reserves, low utilization expectations, and a large employer HSA contribution, you may lean toward the HDHP. If you have limited cash or expect high utilization, you may lean toward the PPO. In mixed scenarios, compare the out-of-pocket maximums and run the math both ways. Next, consider the year of care timeline. We compare HDHP and PPO cash flows across 4 quarters. The HDHP shows premiums spread monthly but potentially large spikes when early year visits immediately hit the deductible. Employer HSA dollars may arrive early in the year and can offset those spikes if you choose to spend them. For the PPO, cash flow tends to be steadier with predictable copays per visit and a lower out-of-pocket maximum, resulting in less volatility overall. Meanwhile, here is a quick cheat sheet. If you prioritize long-term wealth via HSA growth and can safely cover a large deductible, the HDHP can make sense. If your priority is immediate cash flow stability, the PPO is typically more appropriate. Remember the simple net formulas. Best case equals premiums plus expected care minus employer HSA. Worst case equals premiums plus out-of-pocket maximum minus employer HSA. Watch for red flags such as choosing an HDHP without an emergency fund or ignoring the HDHP's higher out-of-pocket maximum. Look for green lights like a large employer HSA contribution and genuinely low expected utilization. Quiz time. Which statement is most accurate about an HDHP paired with an HSA? Option A says it guarantees lower total costs than a PPO every year. Option B says it can be mathematically superior in low utilization years, especially with strong employer HSA contributions. Option C says it eliminates the need for an emergency fund. Option D says it always has a lower out-of-pocket maximum than a PPO. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is B. An HDHP can be mathematically superior in low utilization years when employer HSA contributions and tax advantages are significant. However, it does not guarantee lower costs every year, it does not remove the need for an emergency fund, and it often has a higher, not lower, out-of-pocket maximum compared to a PPO. Next question. When is a PPO generally the better choice? Option A says when you have a large emergency fund and expect very low utilization. Option B says when immediate cash flow stability is essential and you expect frequent visits. Option C says when your employer offers a huge HSA contribution and you rarely need care. Option D says when you want to invest HSA dollars for retirement. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is B. The PPO is generally better when you need immediate cash flow stability and expect frequent medical visits. Options A and C describe conditions that more often favor an HDHP, while option D specifically references investing HSA dollars, which is a feature unique to the HDHP. To summarize key points, the HSA provides triple tax advantages. Yet the HDHP still carries the risk of a large deductible and potentially higher out-of-pocket maximum. Employer HSA contributions can make the HDHP best case cheaper than the PPO, but the PPO often wins for cash flow stability and lower worst-case exposure. Use simple net math to compare. Choose the HDHP only if you can comfortably cover the deductible. Otherwise, favor the PPO. In conclusion, if you maintain strong savings and expect low utilization, the HDHP and HSA combination can be a powerful long-term wealth tool. If immediate stability matters, particularly with frequent care, the PPO is typically the safer choice. Do not let tax perks obscure deductible risks. Always run both best-case and worst-case scenarios before enrolling. Finally, thank you for watching. If this video helped you make a clearer decision, please like, share, and subscribe. Drop your scenario or questions in the comments so we can continue the conversation and help others choose wisely.